Welcome to Default Assault, where we take on everything by default. I am your host, Demosthenes from HilarityByDefault.com, and with me today is the student of the game himself, Kyle Nash. Say hi, Kyle.
Hi, Kyle.
Last week, in honor of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, we explored what Disney characters would make great replacements or substitutes for the original Avengers lineup of Hawkeye, Black Widow, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. This week we're back, and this time we're going to be taking a look at which Disney villains would make great substitutes for the Avengers. The Dark Avengers. And we're going to start with Hawkeye, and because this is the villains list, I'm going to let Kyle go first.
Well, yeah, this is a universe where where the good guys can win. Did you just make your show Last Action Hero, Demos? Anyways, when it comes to wins, I don't have a win. I struggled mightily with this character. The best I could come up with is somebody who I knew can hunt with a ranged weapon, was adept somewhat at soldierly, but the best thing I could come up with is Clayton from Tarzan. I really struggle with this pick. This is easily the least favorite pick I have, so I'm going to get it out of the way. I'm that's the best I could really come up with. Show me how I should have done it, Demos.
I also had a few runners up. In the same way as Clayton, my first runner up was McLeach from the underrated Rescuers Down Under. I even thought of, once again, I went with the bow and arrow aspect. I thought, maybe the Sheriff of Nottingham from Robin Hood, but he's an idiot. I mean, Hawkeye is supposed to be stealthy. He's supposed to be the greatest shot in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept thinking, greatest in the world, greatest in the world. So why not go with the greatest hunter in the world? And I went with the choice that may be slightly controversial. And I know you're going to jump at it when I say it, but I actually went with Gaston for a few different reasons. He is the greatest hunter in the world, as LeFou adores. When he goes into the castle, okay, and the entire enchanted army attacks, this guy is able to avoid all that. He gets past that army like a pro. And when he gets to the top, he shoots and nails the beast with a bow and arrow, and eventually kills him. And if you watch Avengers: Age of Ultron and you watch Civil War, he has kind of a wit to him, a kind of an endearing wit. So yeah, I think Gaston would be the kick-ass Hawkeye. I would like to see Gaston as Hawkeye more than I would like to see Hawkeye as Hawkeye. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, that's a different topic. First of all, excuse me, Gaston is among my favorite Disney villains. And no, not just because we used to karaoke that mess and use my name in place of Gaston. No, Hawkeye is entirely too smart to be played by Gaston or replaced by Gaston. That alone. No.
Yeah, well, Gaston isn't, when it comes to being social, when it comes to everyday life, he is dumb as a brick. That's on the table. But when it comes to war, when it comes to battle, when it's on the field where it counts, he's a pro. And so is Hawkeye. So on that level, I'm sticking with that choice.
I'm going to use your very own argument to bash against you later. Moving on.
Bring it on. Black Widow. Go for it.
Look, this was another one I struggled with mightily. I stuck with subterfuge and somebody who's capable of dark dealings. Not anybody who's necessarily a soldier, but I thought of Maleficent, but that's entirely overpowered. Okay, that's the problem I had.
The dragon. I mean, she'd take them all on.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. That would be horrible for overpowering in and of itself. Who knows, when we get to the point that we're talking about, Thanos possibly later on as somebody who we need to replace, by a Disney character, she might be in the conversation. You know, all the talk about the villains franchising that Disney talks about, there are two primary beings. There's that one giant beast whose name I can't remember that has the wings and basically looks like, okay, that looks like a reincarnation of the devil. And the number two person is Maleficent. So couldn't pick her. So I stuck to the subterfuge. I stuck to the double dealing. I stuck to the underhandedness. I went with Lady Tremaine, known more famously as Cinderella's wicked stepmother.
Well, when it comes to breaking glass, she's a pro.
If only the ceiling were glass as well. Am I right?
Hillary Clinton as Black Widow would.
Hey, man.
I can't think of worse box office poison.
I mean, like it's an awesome pantsuit, and you know, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't think that would have been a bad campaign poster.
Every single pose a Black Widow does shows off that particular area. I'm a visual person. I do not want to see Hillary Clinton in that particular pose. I have respect for everyone, but that is no.
Who knows?
Politics aside, this was kind of a tough one. I actually had to dig quite a bit for this. My first runner-up was Mirage from The Incredibles. Once again, the cloak and dagger aspect to her character. Not much of a fighter. Of course, we only see her get knocked out by Mrs. Incredible, but that's as far as we saw. I actually went with a slightly lesser-known character from Atlantis: The Lost Empire, Helga Sinclair. She's beautiful. She's sexy. Ever since she was a little girl, she was trained in combat. She's athletic. She's agile. She plays both sides, just like Widow does in Civil War. Pretty spot on, I thought.
I'll have to take your word. Another movie I did not see.
You're not really missing too much. Although James Garner, I'll watch anything with him in it, even if it's his voice. And Leonard Nimoy as well.
Yeah, true.
So next we have Hulk, another tough one, both literally and figuratively. Go for it, Kyle.
Yeah, man. Look, I went chalk with this one. This one was pretty simple. I had Wreck-It Ralph in place for the heroes, and if he's the precedent there, you got to go with Willie the Giant, from the Jack and the Beanstalk. I think it was
Fun and Fancy Free. It's the Mickey and the Beanstalk section, 1947. Also, the last time that Walt Disney did the voice of Mickey. Random trivia.
So now, granted, as much as they make Willie a lot more friendly, like they do Pete in the Disney shows nowadays, he was the antagonist there. I think he qualifies as a villain. Mm-hmm. At one point, I had considered Genie Jafar as the Hulk, because that first initial thing when he transitions to the genie, he's like, just before he gets the clamps on, made me think of the Hulk. Well, actually, there is a comic character known as the Red Hulk, and made me think of that with an Arabic style hairdo. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, that might even be overpowered for the Hulk.
Phenomenal cosmic powers, I think, is slightly overpowered.
Hulk has gotten a lot of dap as far as invulnerability and strength, but he hasn't gone yet. Hulk, tell you suck it, and you disappear. You got to do something else other than snap. He actually has to swing, a fist at you or something. No, if he flicked you, that's kind of okay. We're reaching. But yeah, we need somebody far more cosmic. I like that word. If we were going to utilize Genie Jafar there, I got Willie the Giant.
Another giant that Mickey Mouse took out. Just saying. Funny. Willie the Giant was my first runner-up. But there was one aspect to Willie that a lot of people forget. Because it's not something that's focused on very much in the movie, which is kind of sad. It's almost like, why did they introduce this aspect to the character if they're never going to really use it properly? And he's a shapeshifter. He turns into rabbits. He becomes bigger and smaller. His introduction song, he has those powers and abilities, which make me think, why didn't he turn into a bird or something? And when the beanstalk got cut down. Anyway, so the shape-shifting aspect of that character made me back away from Willie. I also did think of doing, once again, because of brute strength, I thought about doing the Chernobog from Fantasia, with the big wings, the character you were just relating to earlier. For the same reason as Jafar, overpowered. I mean, this is a satanic character. He's pretty much Satan. He's bringing people back from the dead. He's playing with nude feminine fireworks. I mean, it's it's insane. He would be a good Thanos if we ever got to that.
We have a few candidates for Thanos,
yeah.
but
I ended up going with a different giant, and a different giant that Mickey defeated, Gustav the Giant, from the classic award-winning Mickey Mouse short, The Brave Little Tailor. He's much more villainous.
We're getting photos for that one, Jave, just so you know.
There'll be photos for everything. But he's much more villainous than Willie is. This is a guy that actually does tear down towns and so forth, and Mickey is, as a character, is really, I mean, he's a tailor. He's really looked at as the last resort. He also wants to get Minnie's tail, and that's why he goes for it. But that's another story for another day. We're talking about Disney today, folks. Anyway, so yeah, I went with Gustav the Giant. Once again, just because of that magical element of Willie that most people forget about, but it's there.
It's interesting though, and the shape-shifting aspect I think kind of enhances my thought on it though. Like the fact that he could maybe be a Bruce Banner as well, far more than your option. It kind of makes that kind of enhanced my leaning towards Willie the Giant, because that introduces the element he might have a Banner aspect as well. I'll just throw that out there. Not knocking your choice. It helped me, even though it deterred you, but whatever.
I see what you're saying. I think you're reaching a bit because there's no duality. He can just become smaller and he can become bigger. So that beside that, there's not really much more to that.
On your side, though, that's my thing.
Yeah. So we're both picking giants. I think we're pretty good on that. Which brings us to Thor, which honestly was, out of all of these, out of everything on this show, Thor was a tough one on the villain side.
This was tough.
Yeah, just because of the overpowered element. You go first.
So yeah, for this one, we needed somebody who had a lot of power but wasn't completely indestructible. And for me, as compared to you, not that one is better than the other, although obviously mine is better. Just kidding.
We shall see, good sir. We shall see.
I mean, my criteria, not my character. But no, look, dude, you need a reliance on an object. You need somebody who's going to battle very strong, but yet not be the strongest possible foe imaginable. In other words, below Genie Jafar, but, let's say he would whoop Clayton's ass, right? And again, dependence on an object. That's where I really struggled until it hit me like a burning pumpkin. The damn headless horseman from Sleepy Hollow. This guy fits the bill. If he and Thor went to war, you pardon the rhyme, Thor may win, but only on brute strength and the magical power of Mjolnir getting involved. But what's the headless horseman's dependency? Hello, he who controls his head controls the headless horseman. Saw you not the movie? That's where I went there.
Well, if you're going by the Sleepy Hollow version, that's not really present in the Disney version, Ichabod and Mr. Toad. But I see what you're going for. I see you're taking it a few steps ahead. I get it. With the Thor choice, I went with Hercules originally, right?
Yeah.
A god for a god. So
don't do it.
Huh? What?
Get it over with.
I didn't do Hades.
Oh, thank God. Okay,
no,
continue.
No. I went for a god as well. Uh Now this is an antagonistic character. He's an antagonist to the protagonist, so he's technically a villain, although the motives, are
Hey,
yeah.
Thor was pretty antagonistic too. Let's not BS.
Yeah, exactly. This is a character that actually creates lightning bolts for the gods. So he has mastery over electricity. He's the Greek god of fire and volcanoes. I went with Vulcan from the Pastoral Symphony in Fantasia.
That's not bad. That's not bad. If he wasn't an antagonist, a good thought just popped in my head too. But technically, he's not a villain. Would it be too cheap to put Poseidon in there for Thor because of his dependence on the Golden Trident? But he's not a villain, so that's useless.
No, I mean, on the hero side, yeah. I think that Poseidon would have been a fine choice, actually.
Yeah.
Or actually, he's in the Little Mermaid. He is known as King Triton.
Thank you. You're right.
But no, he in Fantasia, Vulcan creates the thunderbolts for Zeus, so he can literally rain and destroy a feast and a party. So he is literally the Debbie Downer of the party. He destroyed a rollicking good time. You have topless centaurettes prancing around, wine everywhere, and this motherfucker had to go and create lightning bolts so Zeus can haphazardly throw them at these poor people.
So let's be clear. Here he comes. Higgitus Figitus. Here's your lightning bolt. I feel like I had to say that since you said motherfucker.
I'm going to be doing a lot of censoring in this episode.
Hope you marked it.
Which brings us to Captain America. Oh, man. Or should I say the Captain Un-American. Go for it, Kyle.
Well, so here's the thing. If you look at all the stuff that's negative about Americans in the press today worldwide, it's that we're arrogant. We think we're the best at everything. And, I guess we get the girls too. I don't know. But
I've been to some of the Scandinavian countries. They have a good for all our Scandinavian viewers out there, thumbs up. And make sure to like the video as well.
We like you, just like us back. And if you want to subscribe, I mean, that now it's getting awkward. But you see what I mean? No, yeah, man. And then you line down this whole thing about a character who was great when it counted and in times of war and was spot on in the heat of the battle and a natural leader. Give me a damn break with this Hawkeye choice. Gaston is Captain Damn America, whether you like it or not. I don't have to say anymore. I would drop my microphone, but I need it for the rest of the show. See?
Yeah. Yeah. No. With Captain America, I had a lot of choices for this one.
Yes.
I went from, at one point, I even considered Don Carnage from Tailspin. Remember him? The fox, the villain of the Air Pirates, who had the Desi Arnaz voice.
Yeah. That would have been. That's an interesting drop of a character. I haven't thought about him in years. I can see why you'd go there.
I thought about even Hans from Frozen. He's too weak. I even thought about doing Captain Crocodile from Robin Hood, because he's a captain and he's probably the most proficient villain in that movie. But
and then I had Captain Gantu in mind, but I didn't go there either.
Yeah, but I ended up going with something different. See, Captain America. The very first thing I think about, obviously, the very first thing you think about when you think about Captain America is the patriotism. So I went for the inverse of that. Somebody who wants to put in his rule. He doesn't agree with the status quo. He wants to impose his own rule. He's anti-patriotic. But I wanted somebody who was ruthlessly intelligent, a natural leader, somebody who is a good strategist, but also somebody who stands out against the crowd because by his very nature, he is bigger, stronger, and more intimidating than the regular community that surrounds him. So I actually went with Ratigan from The Great Mouse Detective, who would also be a good balance against my Mickey Mouse Captain America.
I don't even know what to do with that. Simply because Gaston is such a perfect choice, other than the fact that he's French.
And they both have songs dedicated to their own names.
If I saw The Great Mouse Detective, which I'm not sure I did, it's long enough ago to where I don't remember I saw it or not. But that's a tough sell for me to think that's a better one than Gaston.
Think about it this way. Great Mouse Detective is a Sherlock Holmes adaptation. So you have Basil Baker Street is Sherlock Holmes. Ratigan is Moriarty. But other than when a lot of people, when they think of Moriarty, they think of the guy with a beard, and a cane. Ratigan is strong, intimidating, voiced by Vincent Price, which automatically is a win in my book.
Oh no, Vincent Price is great, and keep in mind that Moriarty was also a boxer at Oxford, so it's not like he's physically weak either. I see where you're going.
Good man. And he's basically a rat under the guise as being a mouse in a mouse community. So by his very nature, he is 3 times taller, much stronger, and he kicks the crap out of poor Basil Baker Street at the end. He's eventually taken down by Big Ben. Actually, Ratigan and Ratigan and Gaston basically both beat the shit out of the hero, except Gaston actually gets, he doesn't get the best end out of his battle, and they both fall to their death from towers.
I mean, I didn't know these characters were that closely related, but
except one is much smarter, and just for that, I'm going with Ratigan. Great tactician, great strategist. Definitely has the incredible strength compared to his peers. Yeah. And he takes over the kingdom. He actually almost succeeds to become King Ratigan.
That's actually working against your point, because Gaston, Captain America spends a lot of time being out of touch from the rest of his team. The difference is between Gaston has that too, that he's out of touch. Granted, he doesn't know that he is, but that's part of his antagonism. I think that really adds to the choice more than, oh, look, I'm the king now. That's not why Captain America's there, but because antagonist. I know what you mean.
Yeah, well, he's the anti. I mean, they both. I mean, I see your point with Gaston. He's a natural leader and so forth, but it's really the intelligence. I see what you're saying with out of touch, but really, Captain America, he was only out of touch in one film. He grew into that team's leader at the end of the Avengers, and by the time Civil War and the rest of the films come out, he is the leader of the Avengers. I mean, his out of touchness dissipates.
Still at a bit. It dissipates, sure, but it's still kind of there that he doesn't get certain references and all that. Yeah, no. I'm with you.
But Vincent Price, I win. So Nick. So which leads us to, unless you have any other points, it leads us to Iron Man. I love my choice for Iron Man. It is. You go first.
Because Captain America Civil War was such a popular film, mostly because of the airport scene, I went this way. A guy who was inspired to build to protect himself while also to overcome people working against him, at least in his own mind. Somebody who used tech to become powerful and was powerful because of tech. And oh, by the way, just happens to be the absolute antithesis to my hero choice for Captain America. I have the Incredibles villain Syndrome as Iron Man.
Fine choice. Actually, my first runner-up. I actually also thought of a really out there villain as well. I thought of Taurus Bulba from Darkwing Duck, because he actually does become a cyborg.
Yeah.
But no, going back to actually what the point that you said when it came to Tony Stark, you got the ego, you got the money, and you got the tech. This character, my character, not only has the ego, not only is he a billionaire, not only does he have the tech, he actually even builds his own robotic suit so he can go up against and stand up against villains, or his villains, our heroes, that were more powerful than him. And to top it all off, he has a kick-ass beard, voiced by Jonathan Frakes, Xanatos from Gargoyles.
That's interesting. It
almost fits everything very well, in my opinion.
Nice. Yeah, Xanatos is rich as bleep. He is definitely full of himself, and did in fact make a gargoyle suit. He's not one with the suit per se, but hey man, look, I got to give you that. That's probably your strongest choice on both lists. I like Xanatos a lot. Gargoyles, by the way, great show, completely underrated. Xanatos is a very good choice.
I nearly went with I didn't say this earlier because I didn't want to play my card out, but I nearly went with Goliath for Captain America, but he's too much of a monstrosity. But then again, he had the outsider element, but
he's got to be handsome to be Captain America.
Yeah. But you know what? Troy liked him, so I mean.
Stop it.
That film, that series had a lot of Next Generation.
Demona is her name. If it wasn't for Overpowered, there's a fine choice for damn Black Widow as well.
Mm-hmm. But that brings us to one more bonus round: the evil Agent Coulson. Go. My choice for this one is really out there, but you go, Kyle. Go for it.
Okay, so you like Jiminy Cricket, so that means you like my criteria. Okay, blue collar, does a lot of work, self-sacrificing, fanboy. Name me a villain that fits that role better than the loyal Mr. Smee. How much of that crap does he put up with from Captain Hook? You have to be a fanboy to face that. And he's definitely blue collar, doing his every bidding and making stuff work. Hell, oftentimes he's correcting for the captain who flubbed something.
I'm going to hold up my list here because, let's see if we can get this in focus. I have Mr. Smee on there. I have the Ringmaster from Dumbo, but he's too cowardly in my opinion. I even had the Coachman from Pinocchio and the Agent from Bolt, which I thought was kind of too obvious a choice since, obviously Agent Coulson's first name is also Agent. But no, I actually ended up going, once again, somebody who's doing his due diligence, somebody who's doing his job, somebody who rounds up people or monstrosities, and so much to the point that he's almost self-sacrificing and nearly dies in the line of his job. I picked the dog catcher from Lady and the Tramp.
What?
Mostly because I wanted to see that expression right there.
Won that round. I'm going to dance with you.
Just like Coulson is the Iron Man catcher, and the Thor catcher, and the Hulk catcher, the dog catcher is the ultimate Agent Coulson in the Disney universe.
Have you been to Tahiti, Demos? Because
yes, it's a magical place.
Apparently, you've smoked some of the weird weed there too. By the way, thanks for picking up on the drop.
Yes, it was quite a reach. Just like my pick, but nevertheless.
I see what he did there.
But no, I like this. This was fun. I honestly cannot wait. Doing this list, I honestly cannot wait to do our next one, which will be New Avengers, coming out probably later this summer. And about the time that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 comes out on DVD, we'll debut our Guardians episode as well. What do you have any final thoughts, Kyle?
The dog catcher. Are you?
Yes.
I almost said, well, I'm not going to drive another Higgitus Figgitus MFer because you already have enough work to bleep that out tonight. But I needed to do the dog. Sure. No, this was fun. I like this list a lot. And hey, if you guys like it, like and subscribe so you can catch the other versions of the list. We're going to do the Guardians of the Galaxy ones coming. And at some point, we still got Black Panther, Ant-Man, so many other characters we could go over. Villains might be scant, but there's plenty of heroes to fill in the way. But we'll find a way. That's what we do by default.
Oh, I think actually when we do New Avengers and we actually get to the point where we're having characters that have magical powers like Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, there are loads of Disney villains that can fit those characters very well. In fact, I think when we get to that, the villains will probably be the easiest. It'll be the heroes that are the tough ones. But more importantly, we want to know what you guys think. Which Disney characters do you think would have been good choices for the Avengers? Do you think that Winnie the Pooh is the ultimate Hulk? Or do you think that instead of Hulk smash, he's like, honey! It'll be
no bother, smash.
Even better. But let us know in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe and follow us. Let's see, what movies am I seeing? Oh yes, come in tomorrow for my review of Prometheus. And make sure to follow me at Default Hilarity at Twitter. Follow me on Facebook at Hilarity by Default. And also check out my website, surprise, surprise, hilaritybydefault.com. We review many Disney films. In fact, we have an ongoing series called Default Disney. We look at older Disney films, newer Disney films, everything with an adult perspective. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. Kyle, where can we find you?
Of course, you can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Go ahead and fire a tweet at me. Let me know how ridiculous you thought Demosthenes' answer for the dog catcher as Coulson was. No, I kid, but I see about the whole recruitment thing. That's an interesting element.
I think outside the box or outside the dog cage, if you will.
And I know that I'm looking forward to seeing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Hopefully we'll have a chance to talk that up here again as well in the episode at some point once we've already seen it.
That's a given.
Word. And then are there any other movies we should be talking about, Demos?
Well, you mentioned in our last episode that there was one particular movie you hadn't seen, and it turns out that 30% of the population lies about the fact that they've actually seen this movie. Next week, we're going to be discussing, is The Godfather required viewing? So, to answer that, we're going to make Kyle watch it.
Well, yeah, I volunteered to watch it. Everybody tells me what sort of a heretic I am for not having had seen it. Should be a good time all the way around. Yeah, looking good, man.
Yeah, and if it all goes well, we'll have to follow it up with Godfather Part 2. And if there are any other films that you guys think that we should see and review and give you guys our thoughts.
Give us required reading.
More or less. I mean, there's one particular film that I believe should be required reading as much as it might be, more so than The Godfather, and that's this film right behind me, Casablanca. You've seen Casablanca, Kyle?
I have. It's been a long time. I was probably too young to really get it. It wasn't in color, thank goodness, but
yeah, no, God, I hate colorized films. It's like watching a cartoon, except, God, hell, Pixar looks more realistic than a colorized black and white movie. I'll say that much.
Actually, yeah.
It's true. It's true. So make sure to like and subscribe. Tune in next week, and from all of us, hicketus ficketus motherfuckers by default.